Hey traders, Charting Man Dan of the Chart Guys with a quick update on the crypto sector today. Daily consolidation is underway. We saw the Bitcoin daily volume climax. We could see the highest volume day in quite some time. Big upper wick of profit taking. And obviously after seeing such a big move over the past few days, not surprising that we have to consolidate on some of the longer term time frames. There is still a bigger picture megaphone that I'm keeping an eye on. And if we were to fall flat on our faces as bulls, this would be something to be watching. So bulls obviously hope that we set a higher low on the 12-hour and break through this level and get to the upper 20,000 so we don't have to keep an eye on this rising wedge, or I should say this megaphone resistance line anymore. But this is something that helped us when we topped out at 25.2. We were definitely keeping an eye, many of us, on megaphones on both BTC and ETH at that point in time. And again, the fact that we hit that with being so as extended as we were, that was something to keep an eye on as far as expecting some profit taking. So we had a 4-hour pullback. We had 15-minute oversold conditions. And on Twitter, I posted a hypothetical 15-minute back burner trade where you're scaling in a couple positions into 15-minute oversold. You're exiting partial. The key to back burners, playing bounces or overbought conditions, whichever direction, is taking partial profit at an EMA support or resistance. That keeps you in control of the trade. And so just the example that I gave on Twitter was, not nailing tops and bottoms. Let's just say you scale in 2 positions to Bitcoin oversold, one at 24.6 and then another at 24.4. You then place a stop loss based on the dollar amount of risk that you're willing to take. We get the bounce underway. We hit 15-minute EMA 12. Again, not nailing the top. Let's say you exit half at 25.1, just under EMA 12. Your break even was 24.5. You sell half at 25.1. Your break even is now 23.9. And I'm not including fees. You definitely need to be aware of fees, but your break even is 23.9, not including fees. So if you stick your stop loss there, you're still in this position. You get the lower low with no follow through. And at that point in time, 4-hour EMA 12 was still holding. So by selling partial, you get the wiggle room to remain in the trade. We then got a little bit of chopping around action, another lower low here, still no follow through. So I don't have high conviction that this trade is going to play out, but by selling partial, you allow yourself wiggle room to let the move try and play out. So right now on this bounce, I'm looking for anything under 25.3 to be an hourly lower high, and the bulls must confirm an hourly uptrend back in their favor for a 12-hour higher low to be shaping up. We have not yet hit hourly oversold conditions. We got fairly close, but it was front run a little bit, meaning the hourly RSI gets down to 33, 32, and bulls buy before it hits actual oversold conditions. So that took place on that drop there. And essentially from here, it's just a question of, is this a bull flag? Looking for continuation, or do we keep an hourly downtrend going, hit lower lows, get to hourly oversold conditions, and see further retracement? So retracement, if I'm measuring fib retracement here, I'm looking at the low of 19.5 and we're just going off the high. And I can see at the moment, the 12-hour consolidation is still possible bull flag because it's less than 382 retracement. If we get another leg down, we're then going to be looking towards the 50% retracement, and that's when we create the space to potentially see a daily equilibrium shape up and a tightening range. So bulls obviously want to keep full control and get this move follow through. We have the FOMC a week from today. We have to keep that in mind. Not worried about it for now. But overall, healthy consolidation. No big bear volume, no pre-fall, no 50% plus retracement. So bulls hoping that remains the case. The dominance chart is still all bulls up at the highs. Again, we know this is a Bitcoin-centered move because of the narrative, and the narrative being money is fleeing banks, money is going into metals and into crypto. And so with that, looking back at last night we had Bitcoin giving us this big upper wick. And so then we can look around and say, all right, we just saw a huge move off the lows. A lot of these altcoins are still in daily downtrends. And so my logic then is Lots of 20 to 30% bounces, daily stair-step bounces off the lows. We don't have daily uptrends in those alts. The 4-hour uptrends are our guides as we keep an eye out for daily consolidation. So we know to be scouting for that daily consolidation because bulls used up all their momentum, they got real extreme, and then we started to see pullbacks on the 4-hour that were big enough to create space for a 4-hour lower high to be the result of the next bounce. So we were looking for altcoin daily consolidation because of the setup. And so with that, let's just go to an example of Litecoin before Ethereum. So Litecoin, we know Litecoin's a lead bear. Why is Litecoin a lead bear? Because the weekly equilibrium broke bearish. That tells us Litecoin went from a lead bull and it's now back on the menu for bears as a lead crypto bear. So if you're looking for a bearish entry, you're scouting the weaker names, and Litecoin is an example of a name that had a 35% bounce, still in a daily downtrend, stair step down, stair step up. So we know daily consolidation is going to be inevitable. So looking at Litecoin, and again, this is me, cherry picking things that I say, absolutely. But it's also me not saying short Litecoin right now. It's giving the scaffolding of the trade setup. So Litecoin bears are watching the 4-hour uptrend, and a loss of it, the daily lower high will be set. We're keeping an eye out for a bearish pattern such as a rising wedge or a head and shoulders or a 4-hour lower high, and LTC BTC is still weak in a 12-hour downtrend. So how did this shape up? We went from a clear 4-hour uptrend, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, lower high, lower low. That's a head and shoulders. So not only did you have a head and shoulders on the 4-hour time frame, which is just an uptrend changing to a downtrend, but if you zoom in, what's the indication and what time frame do you use if you're looking for a 4-hour lower high? We use the 15-minute chart. And what was the pattern that showed up to present the 4-hour lower high forming? Bull breaks that lacked follow through. So there's your bull break straight into consolidation. There's your bull break straight into consolidation. It was a 15-minute rising wedge that broke bearish to mark the 4-hour lower high. So again, this is Trading 101, the pillars of trading, determine the most likely scenario on a longer term time frame. I couldn't look at Litecoin and say a 4-hour lower high is definitely going to form here. If I had that kind of confidence, I'd be all in and I'd be telling, well, I can't short, but I would have been all in telling everybody this is going to happen. But I know what to look for, and if it shapes up, then that's the trade presenting itself to me. That's the trade coming to me. So we know the 4-hour lower high to be watching for it because daily consolidation is due. So we zoom in to look for the bearish short-term pattern to indicate that the 4-hour lower high is being set. And then from that point, whether you got, if you got the rising wedge, then you got a pullback of 11%. If you acted on the break of 81, then you got a pullback of 7%. And again, we're not nailing tops and bottoms, but we can say if the pie is 7 or 11% big, then it's not that hard for us to get a 3-4% move. And 3-4% is very worthwhile if you can just keep stacking those up over a long period of time, especially if you're compounding. That's a very meaningful trade. Again, don't scoff at 1, 2, 3% moves. That's what aside from the big moves, obviously, to build up the accounts, the 1,000% moves in crypto, ever since then, it's now just these little 1%ers to just keep it going year after year. So Litecoin is a bear. Daily consolidation underway. What's the most likely scenario? A daily higher low compared to 65.39. We're watching the retracement size to see if an equilibrium is most likely or if the bulls are going to be able to confirm a daily uptrend for follow through. LTC BTC is all bear. It's at the lows. 12-hour downtrend is my guide. Keep it simple. I just identify the time frame that I care about, and then I say, if the 12-hour downtrend is intact, the bears have absolute control. I don't need to do anything else but make that statement and then look at the chart. Yep, 12-hour downtrend in control. Got it. Moving on. We're overextended. We're very oversold. We won't be surprised when LTC BTC bounces, but it's not bouncing. It's extremely weak at this point, and we're watching for a monthly higher low, but there's a ton of space where that could form. ETH. So ETH daily consolidation underway. Same thing, 4-hour. Not as clear of a right shoulder there. It was more like just sideways, inside bar, bear break. Did we get to hourly oversold? We did. So hourly oversold, technically a back burner, took a while. We first hit hourly oversold and then we pulled back for another couple of hours. And without even looking, we know that's because ETH BTC was showing weakness, but it's a solid bounce here. We're going to watch for an equilibrium. Hourly stair step down, hourly stair step up. We're going to scout a lower high compared to 1708. If it forms, we're going to scout a higher low compared to 1613. And by the time tomorrow rolls around, we'll probably have a tightening range on ETH to be watching. What are we looking for an indication that the hourly lower high is being set? We zoom in and we look for a bearish pattern on the 5-minute time frame. We've got a nice clear uptrend here. I could just say losing that 5-minute uptrend could be the first indication of the hourly lower high. Maybe we lose it, I enter short, and then I stick my stop over the high at that point as a potential day trade. And again, I know there's not going to be a ton of follow through because I'm anticipating an hourly higher low, at least initially, but this is a potential rising wedge. And if this 5-minute rising wedge breaks bear, it's our hourly lower high being set. There's many different ways you could do this. You could look at the 5-minute pattern. You could say, I don't even need to zoom in. I'm just going to act on the hourly stair step. Maybe you're playing the bounce and you're in a long. I'll exit half my position when the hourly stair step pattern breaks bearish. We did get some oversold climax or some super stacks. Again, the Trader Pro alert system here, 4-hour time frame super stacks on Ethereum, had it fire off down near the low there and then fired a couple times. Again, not nailing the top, but just saying, hey, maybe it's a good idea to take a little bit of profit. We're getting really overextended on a lot of these time frames lining up. And that ended up being the case. ETH BTC, again, the 2-week, we've been talking about this 2-week equilibrium for a long time. It has broken bear. This is very notable for me. Now let's go to the monthly time frame, and anything above 4.9 is going to be a monthly high or low. And one thing you'll find the more you watch these equilibriums is once you break it on one time frame, you zoom out, and it's possible you then see it shape up on the next time frame. Let's just go to the 2-month time frame, condense it down. High, low, lower high. We will be scouting a higher low compared to 49. The bears have full short-term control, but now we're just going to the longer-term time frame. And it's entirely possible we tighten up another year within this pattern. 6 more candles, absolutely possible. Let's say we pull back 2 more candles, there goes 4 months. Bounce 2 candles, there goes 8 months. So, I've not looked at this 2-month chart. This is live. Now I know this is the time frame I'm focusing on. In the meantime, the bears have full control. 4-hour downtrend is our guide. If we change it bullish, we zoom out, we'll scout a daily lower high. But I do like the 2-month time frame now. A couple of the altcoins, OP was a lead bull bouncer. And we know that if you don't build support on the way up, you can pull back significantly. So great volatility in both directions. And again, it was another one with the 4-hour stair step. Nope. 4-hour head and shoulders. Again, just a simple uptrend. People try and complicate head and shoulders. It's just an uptrend changing to a downtrend. Higher low, lower high, bear break. The bear break signal is at 260. Follow through down to 230. Over 10% possibility from the support break. I don't often short support breaks and long resistance breaks unless it's a certain market environment. But when you have this much volatility, there's some nice follow through. Was it a 15-minute rising wedge here as well? Probably, knowing that that's how Litecoin topped out. Wouldn't be surprised. So again, what do I mean by no follow through? It was more of a channel than a rising wedge. The break takes place into consolidation. The break lasts 1 candle, bull break into multiple candles of consolidation. That's a break with no follow through. If you break and it lasts 4 candles or 3 candles, that's follow through. But 1 candle into the pullback, no follow through. Hourly oversold conditions on OP and got extreme. So bulls took their sweet time buying that dip. And we're now going to look for a 12-hour higher low, and we're watching the retracement size. Are we shaping up an equilibrium? Over 50% retracement, so I would anticipate that's more likely than not. We're going to look for the low, high. We're going to scout a higher low. The bulls need to confirm an hourly trend change back in their favor for the hourly higher low to be, or for the 12-hour higher low to be shaping up. And then we scout a 12-hour lower high from there. Binance, daily bull flag possible. Why I'm keeping an eye on Binance is number one, I like the 2-week time frame. Tightening range for 4 months. High, low, lower high, higher low. Identify the longer term time frames that are tightening up and watch for them to break. And you can then have a pattern that's likely to break within the next 4 months. A pattern that's likely going to break within the next 2 weeks. Maybe it's a daily equilibrium, a pattern that's likely to break within a few days. You can line these things up and say, I know I'm watching this pattern. It's probably not going to break anytime soon, but write it down next to the computer, and eventually that trade's going to come to me when a tight range gives a clear break and clarity. So we're going to look for Binance to break this 2-week equilibrium sometime within the next month or so. And I like keeping an eye on Binance BTC. The most likely scenario here is a monthly high or low, just because it was a stair step up, stair step down pattern. We got a ton of space for a monthly high or low. Then we got a ton of space for a monthly lower high after that. But we were watching this daily falling wedge, and it broke bull, and now we're back testing and still weak, hitting fresh lows. But again, just keeping an eye out for Binance BTC to set a monthly high or low. And the reason I'm looking at it today is it is down the least out of any coin on my list. So that is showing us a little bit of relative strength, not much, but again, just enough to remind me, don't fall asleep. Keep an eye on Binance BTC to set a monthly high or low eventually. And a daily trend change back to the bulls would be the first step towards trying to shape that up. But in reality, we need a weekly uptrend to confirm to have confidence the monthly high or low is set. It's so easy in hindsight, but just uptrends, higher lows and higher highs, every move, downtrend, lower highs and lower lows every move. Price action trends are your best friend. APT, we were watching this 12-hour falling wedge. It broke bull, and now we're back testing, trying to form that 12-hour high or low. Bigger picture, we need to confirm a daily uptrend, right? We're looking for a weekly high or low. We can say technically it's been set, but we don't have a ton of confidence in it unless it comes with a daily trend change. This move came off the low. So we've got to confirm the daily trend change to have confidence that we can see a potential weekly equilibrium. We need enough bounce follow through on the weekly here to try and see something like that shape up. And we have to confirm a daily trend change to the bulls to get to the midway point to try and have the equilibrium then gain favor. So that's where we stand overall. Patterns. Longer term time frame, most likely scenario. Zoom in and look for the pattern on the shorter term time frame that shows you that longer term scenario is playing out. Keep an eye on those back burners hourly. Got to be cautious. Again, some of these altcoins they build no support on the way up. You can get extreme. So that's why we scale in. We don't just think we're going to nail the bottom and make one entry. And again, I got a YouTube video, how I trade crypto breakdowns. Check that out. And check out Trader Pro, Super Stacks, and Backburners. That's what is currently favored in this market environment. Appreciate you watching. Don't forget to do good things, and we will see you soon.